Raul Smith here with a very special announcement slash reminder. I am going to be on the Ace in the Hole live podcast sometime within the next few weeks, either late January or early February. I will be appearing on there with the host of the Ace in the Hole podcast, Nate Drew. We will be discussing Galactic Digital Studios as well as this particular podcast. I'll be discussing with him about, the secret of success and how to treat your customers like people rather than assets. So, if you're interested in hearing more about that, head on over to the Ace in the Hole live podcast, wherever you are listening to this podcast. And now, on with the show. So you had to know that this day was coming. You had to know that the invention of AI, or at least the integration of AI into our daily lives, was going to get to this point. And it's here. It has arrived. The day has arrived. This is Tech Talk, part of the Closing Tag Network. And since I know that I haven't been on here in a while on the Tech Talk channel of the Closing Tag Network, I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. And hopefully everybody's doing great. So let's rewind the clock back a little bit, shall we? So, multiple websites not only feature editorials, or I guess you could say opinion pieces about, this, that, the other. Basically, any number of particular topics. I remember reading a GeoCities page. Yes, remember GeoCities. Some of you that are watching this may be too young to remember that, but there was a very popular website thing called GeoCities, where they had a little counter at the bottom of the screen or the page, and had like these ridiculous, like weird fucking backgrounds and all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, it was a web designer's nightmare. If a web designer that just barely broke into the business 5 years ago took a look at GeoCities today, they'd probably have an aneurysm. So I remember reading a GeoCities page back in like either 1999 or 2000, talking about how, yeah, Bill Clinton was, a womanizer and a pervert, but he was a damn good president. That was basically the GeoCities post. I also remember reading one about how what was the one that I read about the NBA? Something to the effect of how the 3-point shot is killing the game and how no one ever takes twos anymore. This was back in the late 90s, early 2000s, by the way. This was when the 3-point shot was nowhere near as prevalent in the game as it is today. Not even close. And they were complaining about it back then. And of course, there was AOL chat rooms where people can go and either chat with each other or try to cyber sex each other, or start flame wars. Oh, the flame wars. Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. The edgelords that you see today got their start in AOL chat rooms. I am thoroughly convinced of that. But there was another thing that was prevalent back in those days: deepfakes. So this was around the same time that Adobe's Photoshop program started really taking off. People had way too sick in the head type of mentality and way too much time on their hands. Deep faking porn, basically. So the reason I bring all this up is we're noticing a similar pattern with AI. Now, I don't want to come on here and sound like the old head and say AI is bad, AI is terrible, anything like that. In good practice and when moderated efficiently, AI has the ability to make people's lives easier. Let me repeat that. When properly moderated and controlled, AI has the ability to make people's lives easier, not to mention jobs. I myself, from time to time, will use AI for content creation, not for the closing tag blogs, but for other things in my business. And the key is to proofread everything. Make sure that there are no lies, that everything is the way that it should be, and that there's nothing that's going to come back and bite you in the ass. Now, I have never wanted to put a celebrity's head on someone else and deepfake porn, but it is what it is. And the reason I bring that up is there is a pending lawsuit from one Taylor Swift. Yes, that Taylor Swift. Shake it off, Taylor Swift. She is suing an AI generation software for being responsible for deepfaking porn of her and distributing it throughout the internet. Now, I have not seen the images because, frankly, I have no desire to. Not that I don't find Taylor attractive. I'm just, not a fan. I'd rather it be the real thing. But she's dating Travis Kelce at the moment, so, that's kind of out of my reach for the moment. Might give it about 6 more months. So that's a thing. And I don't know if there's a chance for her to win the lawsuit, but you never know. This is a thing that's been going on for years. AI has just made things easier for the creeps, unfortunately. Now, a lot of AI generated images, you can tell. There's just like little imperfections, little things where you can tell that it's AI. AI is nowhere close as far as video generation. Not even close. If you've seen AI generated videos on social media, you know what I'm talking about. It is still not even close. It's still got that weird, Picasso style art style where, your mouth is clear over here and your eyes are clear over here. And it's like, ugh. So that's something that's going on. AI was also, a huge reason why Sports Illustrated is practically a dead brand right now. Keep in mind, Sports Illustrated ran, I think it was like several editorials or several, pieces of news information through AI. Like, they didn't even bother to proofread. They just basically said, okay, generate a news article for this, this, and this, and hit send. And once they found out, or once someone found out that, hey, this is false, this is wrong, Sports Illustrated lost the public trust because they had to retract everything and they had to come clean about how they're doing their business right now. And they got caught again just recently, within the last 48 hours. Someone ran a piece about how the WWE's plans have changed for the Royal Rumble and they're going to have so-and-so win the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble, of course, if you don't know, is a huge wrestling event held in January where the winner goes on to the main event of WrestleMania. And they had to retract and backtrack when they were called out on their bullshit and admit, yeah, that was an AI generated article. We're sorry. And you're starting to see people abuse AI more and more and more over the last year. I mean, we've had political candidates throughout the US over the last, I want to say, year, maybe year and a half, deep faking Donald Trump's voice to make it sound like that he's endorsing them as a candidate for this particular race. And then, of course, they had to come out and say, yeah, that was, an AI generated thing. Here's the thing. And it's something that my ex always used to tell me. It's like, you can dance around the truth all you want. And you can, dance around everything and try to cover up the truth all you want. The problem with that is the truth always comes out. And once the truth comes out and you don't come clean about it, then it becomes a big problem. And the thing is that a lot of these people are not being very forthright about their use with AI. So, is this going to be a problem going forward? I think yes. We're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. It is going to get so much worse. You're going to get deepfake porns of practically everybody. You're probably going to get deepfake porns, if you haven't already, of like Catherine Zeta-Jones or of what's another really popular actress? Just throwing names at a dartboard here. I want to say Anna Kendrick or Rika Seahorn. Oh, you're going to see deepfake porns of practically everybody. You're going to see AI generated content all over the place. It is becoming more and more difficult to spot AI generated content as far as writing is concerned, because AI is getting better and better about it. But that does bring up another interesting dilemma. Where do you think AI is grabbing all of this information? Where do you think AI is grabbing all of the information to generate all that content? It's grabbing it from the internet. It's grabbing it from social media. It's grabbing it from chat rooms. It's grabbing it from this place and that place. So eventually it's going to get to the point where it's only grabbing it without rewording it in its own AI mind. And that, boys and girls, and people of neutral genders, is called plagiarism. Plagiarism, in a lot of cases, is illegal. So eventually, it's going to get to the point where there's going to be a lot of people getting in a lot of trouble using plagiarized material in their content. So that's why it's important to read, to proofread everything that you generate using AI, because if you don't, it's going to get you in a lot of trouble. And you're going to get more and more deepfake videos and deepfake voices and deepfake everything. People are going to try to fool you, especially politicians. We are in the middle of maybe one of the most important election cycles in the history of this country. And I don't mean to divert this into a news desk type of thing, but there's going to be politicians on both sides, left and right, that are going to use AI to try to fool you. And the thing is that you have to be of a clear mind and a clear conscience, and you have to do the research. You have to do all of the extra legwork to determine if this is actually legit or not. And unfortunately, and I don't mean this as an insult to a lot of you, most people don't want to do that extra legwork. I know I, in the past, did not want to do extra legwork. But unfortunately, with AI being more and more and more prevalent, it's almost becoming a requirement. So, is it going to get worse? Yes. Is it going to get to the point where we're not going to be able to distinguish reality from fiction? Yes. Is it AI's fault? No. The technology is not the problem. The problem is the people using the technology. I'm going to repeat that. Technology is not the problem. The people using that technology is the problem. You're going to have liars, and you're going to have creeps, and you're going to have cheats, and you're going to have people that just do not want to put in the extra work, that are going to try and fool you and trick you into believing anything that they say or present. It's why for years now I've had it in my mind the idea of seeing all and trusting nothing. Unless I can verify it from more than one source. If I can verify it, unless I can verify it from multiple sources, I just don't bother with it. It's like, that's interesting, cool, awesome. Move on to the next thing. That's why I don't like getting my news from social media. It's why I don't like getting my information from just one source, even if that source is CNN, even if that source is someone that I trust. If I don't know if I can verify that information from multiple sources, I'm just not going to buy into it. So, lesson of the day, kids: technology is not bad. People are bad. The technology is only going to get better. And by better, I mean better for it. Better in terms of being more flawless and more, I want to say, better as far as making it more real. I mean, we're even seeing it with video games. If you've noticed, video games are becoming more and more and more lifelike. There is a clip, I don't know if it's legit or not, and normally I wouldn't even be bringing this up, but there's a clip going online of a new video game. It's like a first-person shooter. Basically, you're the leader of a serious SWAT team, and you're to go in and eliminate threats. There are actually, I think, like 2 police departments that are suing the video game company because it is that real. It is that lifelike. It reminds me of the lawsuit that the LAPD filed against the showrunners for the show The Shield, because The Shield was a little bit hitting a little too close to home for their comfort. By the way, if you haven't watched The Shield, do yourself a favor and watch The Shield. Yeah, a lot of the content is a little bit outdated, but I think you'll find it very interesting, assuming that you can stomach corrupt cops. But all of that said, what are your guys' thoughts on AI? Do you think that it's going to get any worse or any better? Do you think that... First of all, let me ask if you actually trust humans to be able to control AI. Because I don't. And in turn, if humans are teaching AI to be corrupt and use it for, deplorable things, what do you think that, assuming that AI grows sentience, what do you think that's going to teach the AI? The AI is going to be taught to always be creepy and always be misogynistic and always lie. So basically, humans are teaching the AI to be a Republican. Got it. Cool. Anyway, leave a review before this goes completely off the tracks. If you're watching this on Facebook, like, share, and comment. If you are watching this on YouTube, like the video. Algorithms are nice. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. That way, if a new video drops, you are the first to be notified. And I want to thank everyone for downloading, for listening, for watching, for donating, for doing everything you can for the podcast. Your efforts are not going unnoticed, so thank you. And I promise you that this is not an AI generated podcast. How do you know for sure? Well, I am holding a bag of popcorn. I'm going to go heat it up here in a bit as soon as I stop filming. So, with all that said, remember to include your closing tags. This podcast is not being sponsored or generated by AI. Thank you.